Good morning, everyone. It's a true honor to be here today to explore a profound concept. One that has the potential to change the way we approach life's most joyful and festive moments. That concept is inviting God into your celebrations, a life-changing perspective. Thank you, Mani. So often we view celebrations as moments of purely earthly enjoyment. Birthday parties, anniversaries, graduations, and holidays. But what if we could elevate these moments? What if we could invite the divine into every celebration, transforming it into something greater? Today, let's explore how integrating the sacred into our celebrations can change our lives. When we think of celebrations, we often see them as simple human traditions or joyous occasions to mark specific milestones in life. However, if we pause for a moment and reflect, we realize that celebrations are not just about the event itself. They are sacred moments, opportunities to acknowledge the deeper truths of our existence. Life, in all its beauty and complexity, is a gift from a higher power. And every moment of joy, whether it's a birthday, an achievement, or a simple gathering, is an invitation to recognize the divine presence in our lives. By inviting God into these moments, we open ourselves up to the possibility that these celebrations are more than just markers of time or material accomplishments. They are reflections of God's grace, love, and abundance, flowing into our lives in ways we often overlook. When we see celebrations through this sacred lens, we begin to appreciate their deeper meaning. They are moments of connection with the divine, times when we can feel God's presence, celebrate the beauty of life, and express our gratitude. And the final word is this. This perspective shifts our focus from mere celebration for the sake of enjoyment to a celebration of life itself, its trials, triumphs, and all the blessings we often take for granted. Celebrations become acts of worship, acknowledging that everything we have and everything we celebrate comes from a higher source, and we honor that by recognizing its sacred nature. Thus, by inviting God into our celebrations, we elevate the event from a worldly occurrence to a moment of spiritual significance, reminding ourselves that all things are divine and worth honoring. Celebrating with intention means approaching each moment of joy with mindfulness and purpose. Too often we can get caught up in the hustle and bustle of life's events, focusing solely on the surface level enjoyment, whether it's the food, the gifts, or the entertainment. However, when we invite God into our celebrations, we shift our mindset. We begin to celebrate not just for the sake of fun or tradition, but with a deeper sense of gratitude, awareness, and reverence. By celebrating with intention, we allow ourselves to experience the fullness of the moment. This means taking time to pause, reflect, and consciously invite God into the occasion, recognizing that the joy we are experiencing is a blessing. It's about being present in the moment and appreciating the small sacred details that we might otherwise overlook. Whether it's the laughter of loved ones, the beauty of a gathering, or the simple feeling of contentment, these are all gifts that we can honor with a prayer or a moment of reflection. Celebrating with intention also means recognizing the deeper meaning behind our gatherings. Instead of seeing them as just a time to eat and drink, we view them as an opportunity to express gratitude to God for the people in our lives, the experiences we've had, and the blessings we've received. We ask ourselves how this celebration can be a reflection of our faith, a moment to connect with the divine and with others in a meaningful way. In essence, when we celebrate with intention, we transform each event from something ordinary into something extraordinary. We invite God's presence to guide us, and in doing so, we honor the true meaning behind every celebration. This shift in perspective creates a deeper sense of fulfillment and peace, making each celebration not just an event, but a spiritual experience. Life is filled with ordinary moments, routine days, simple gatherings or events that might seem insignificant at first glance. Yet when we invite God into these seemingly mundane experiences, we have the opportunity to transform them into extraordinary, meaningful moments. At the heart of this transformation is the recognition that everything in life is infused with divine potential. Every interaction, every conversation, every meal shared, and every moment spent with loved ones has the potential to carry a deeper spiritual significance. The beauty lies in how we choose to perceive and engage with these moments. When we bring God into our ordinary experiences, we invite a sense of holiness, turning the mundane into something sacred. This transformation occurs through intentionality. It's about shifting our focus from seeing life through the lens of routine and obligation to viewing it as an ongoing opportunity for gratitude and connection. For example, a family dinner is no longer just about the food or the schedule. It becomes a time to appreciate the gift of togetherness, to thank God for the abundance on the table, and to recognize the presence of love in the room. Quiet walk in nature, which might otherwise be a simple exercise, becomes a prayerful meditation in the presence of God's creation. The power of transformation is also found in the way we choose to react to life's challenges. Even during difficult times, when we invite God into our struggles, we experience a shift in perspective. A moment of adversity is no longer just something to endure, but an opportunity to learn, grow, and lean into faith. Every challenge becomes a chance to witness divine strength at work, and every trial an opportunity for personal and spiritual growth. We start to see hardships not as burdens, but as part of the divine plan that shapes our character and deepens our connection to God. Moreover, transforming ordinary moments into sacred ones is not confined to major events or special milestones. It's woven into the very fabric of our everyday lives. Each moment becomes a potential encounter with the divine, where we can experience God's grace, guidance, and presence. The mundane becomes sacred when we choose to approach it with awareness, intention, and gratitude. This perspective shifts how we live our lives. No longer are we rushing through days or getting lost in trivial details. Instead, we learn to slow down, reflect, and find meaning in the small moments, whether it's a moment of silence, a shared smile, a conversation, or even the act of serving others. Each ordinary action becomes an opportunity to invite God into our lives. We become stronger together, and the freedom to commit the creative process allows us to act out our faith with a spirit that is lifeless. In essence, when we invite God into our everyday moments, we transform the ordinary into something extraordinary. We begin to see life not just as a series of events, but as a continuous invitation to experience the divine in everything we do. This transformation shifts our awareness and opens our hearts to the beauty and holiness that is always present, if only we choose to recognize it. One of the most profound gifts of inviting God into our celebrations is the deepening of our connection with a higher power. In a world that can often feel chaotic or disconnected, it is easy to forget that we are part of a divine sacred flow. Celebrations are a unique and powerful moment where this connection can be made clear, and when we invite God into our joyful occasions, we remind ourselves of our divine origin and purpose. When we connect with a higher power, we transcend the material and the temporal, moving into a space of spiritual awareness and peace. Instead of simply enjoying the external aspects of a celebration, whether it's the music, the food, or the people, we begin to tap into the deeper spiritual essence of the event. We see beyond the surface and recognize that we are not alone in our joy. We are part of a much larger divine story. Our creativity and spirituality are concerned with the wholeness of society. We are trapped in a prison of our lives. By including God in our celebrations, we acknowledge that every good thing in our lives is a reflection of God's love and grace. This connection with a higher power allows us to find a deeper sense of fulfillment and peace. Celebrations become a time to reconnect, not only with others, but with our divine essence. Whether it's through prayer, meditation, or quiet reflection, inviting God into our celebrations gives us the opportunity to pause, center ourselves, and align with the higher energy that guides our lives. In this space, we feel more grounded, more attuned to the spiritual currents that run through us and the world around us. Moreover, this connection with God helps us cultivate a sense of gratitude and reverence. As we celebrate, we are reminded that all the blessings we are enjoying, the relationships, the achievements, the joys, are gifts from the divine. By acknowledging God's presence in these moments, we honor the sacredness of the gifts we've been given. This sacred awareness turns an ordinary celebration into an act of worship, where we not only enjoy the experience, but also express our deep thanks for all that we've received. In many ways, inviting God into our celebrations brings a sense of perspective. It helps us remember that no matter how much we may have or how far we have come, we are always part of something greater than ourselves. Celebrations in this context are an opportunity to humble ourselves, recognize God's hand in our lives, and submit to the divine plan. We celebrate not just for our own sake, but as a way of honoring the higher power that sustains and guides us. This is a straightforward version of this concept. A sort of prayer that tells God how much we have honored Him. Ultimately, connecting with a higher power during celebrations fills our lives with deeper meaning. It shifts our focus from the temporary pleasures of the moment to the eternal presence of God that permeates all things. Celebrations become more than just events. They become moments of spiritual renewal, reminders of our divine connection, and opportunities to strengthen our relationship with the Creator. Inviting God into our celebrations doesn't just transform the event itself. It also has a profound impact on the relationships we share with others. One of the most beautiful aspects of any celebration is the opportunity to come together with loved ones, friends, or even strangers, and share in the joy of the occasion. However, when we invite God into these interactions, our relationships take on a deeper, more sacred quality. At the heart of every meaningful relationship is love, and God is the ultimate source of love. By acknowledging God's presence during our celebrations, we are reminded that love is not just a feeling or an emotion, but a divine force that binds us together. When we invite God into our relationships, we allow that divine love to flow freely, strengthening the bonds between us. For whether it's a moment of shared laughter, a kind word of encouragement, or a simple act of service, we are participating in the sacred exchange of love that reflects God's own nature. Inviting God into our relationships also encourages us to show love in a more selfless and unconditional way. Celebrations can sometimes bring out both the best and the worst in people as emotions run high and tensions can arise. However, when we are centered in God's love, we are less likely to get caught up in conflict or misunderstanding. Instead, we are reminded to approach others with patience, forgiveness, and compassion. Through this divine guidance, we begin to embody the values of kindness, empathy, and grace, which naturally enhance our connections with those around us. Furthermore, by recognizing that our relationships are blessed by a higher power, we gain a greater sense of respect and appreciation for one another. We begin to see each person at the celebration not merely as an individual, but as a fellow creation of God, worthy of honor and respect. This perspective transforms the way we interact. Rather than viewing others as separate from us, we see them as part of a larger, interconnected family, bound together by divine love. The realization that each person is a beloved child of God makes it easier to extend grace and understanding, even when we disagree or face challenges in our relationships. The greatest gift we can give a beloved person. Celebrating with God also fosters a deeper sense of unity. When we come together in the spirit of shared faith, we are reminded that we are all part of something much larger than ourselves. This sense of unity creates a bond that transcends the individual, bringing people closer not only to each other, but also to God. We begin to celebrate not just our own achievements or milestones, but the collective victories and joys of those around us. This mutual celebration of life's blessings strengthens the community and nurtures an environment of support, encouragement, and mutual respect. Moreover, inviting God into our relationships during celebrations fosters a sense of peace and healing. Many of us have experienced broken relationships or misunderstandings, and celebrations can sometimes serve as reminders of past wounds. However, when we ask God to be present in these moments, we create space for reconciliation and healing. God's love has the power to restore and renew, helping us to forgive past hurts, let go of resentment, and move forward with grace. In this way, our celebrations can become powerful acts of healing and restoration, deepening our emotional and spiritual connections with others. In essence, inviting God into our celebration strengthens our relationships in ways that go beyond the surface level. It shifts the focus from individual desires and interests to a shared, divine purpose, building a community rooted in love, respect, and unity. As we celebrate together with God at the center, our relationships become a reflection of His love, growing deeper, more meaningful, and more enduring. Through this divine connection, we find greater joy and fulfillment, not just in the celebrations themselves, but in the relationships that make life truly meaningful. The relationships that make life, in truth, we're drawn to each other by the same. One of the most transformative aspects of inviting God into our celebrations is the deepening sense of gratitude it brings. In our fast-pacing, often materialistic world, it is easy to forget the true source of our blessings. We can become distracted by the surface-level aspects of life, focusing on what we don't have rather than on the countless gifts we've already received. One of the constant gifts we've already received. However, when we choose to celebrate with God, we begin to shift our perspective and open ourselves to a more profound sense of thankfulness for both the big and small moments in life. Gratitude is an acknowledgement that all we have is a gift. When we celebrate with God at the center, we understand that the very act of celebrating, whether it's a milestone, an achievement, or simply a moment of joy, is a reflection of God's goodness in our lives. It reminds us that every breath we take, every person we encounter, and every piece of beauty we experience comes from the divine. This awareness naturally cultivates gratitude as we realize that our lives are full of blessings, often beyond what we deserve. Gratitude also enhances the depth of our relationships. When we invite God into our celebrations, we're reminded to be thankful for the people in our lives. Our families, our friends, and even the acquaintances who cross our paths. We begin to see these relationships not as obligations, but as sacred gifts. Each person a unique blessing. In this way, gratitude strengthens our connections with others, encouraging us to cherish the moments we share with them and to appreciate the ways they contribute to our lives. The act of being grateful for the people around us deepens our emotional bonds, making our celebrations more meaningful and fulfilling. When we actively practice gratitude in the context of celebrations, it also fosters a greater sense of humility. Rather than taking credit for everything we have or achieve, we recognize that our successes, our joys, and our happiness are not solely the result of our own efforts. There is a greater power at work, and by inviting God into our celebrations, we acknowledge His hand in shaping our lives. This awareness humbles us, shifting our focus from pride or entitlement to a heart full of thankfulness. It reminds us that all good things come from God, and we are merely stewards of these blessings. Gratitude also has the power to transform our mindset. When we focus on what we have rather than what we lack, we open ourselves to a greater sense of contentment. Celebrations, which are often marked by consumerism and the desire for more, become opportunities to pause and reflect on how much we already possess. Love, peace, health, and purpose. This shift in perspective helps us to feel more fulfilled, as we come to realize that joy does not come from accumulation, but from appreciating the present moment and the blessings it holds. Furthermore, the act of expressing gratitude during celebrations has a ripple effect on our communities. When we express our thankfulness, it invites others to do the same, creating a collective atmosphere of appreciation. Gratitude becomes contagious, spreading through our families, friendships, and communities, deepening everyone's connection to one another and to God. As we share in this practice, we remind each other of the goodness in our lives, and we inspire one another to live with a spirit of thankfulness that transcends the limitations of time and circumstance. Additionally, gratitude invites us to reflect on the divine lessons we are learning through our experiences. Celebrations are not just moments of happiness, they are also opportunities for growth. We might celebrate a promotion at work, but we can also reflect on the lessons of patience, perseverance, and humility that led us to that achievement. We may celebrate a wedding or the birth of a child, but we also recognize that these milestones are filled with lessons about love, sacrifice, and divine timing. When we celebrate with God, we are able to see beyond the immediate joy and reflect on the larger divine narrative that shapes our lives. In essence, when we invite God into our celebrations, gratitude becomes the lens through which we view our experiences. It shifts our focus from the material to the spiritual, from the superficial to the sacred. We learn to appreciate the fullness of life, not just the milestones, but also the everyday moments that are brimming with blessings. Through this gratitude, we become more attuned to the divine presence in our lives, and our hearts are open to a deeper connection with both God and the people around us. Gratitude transforms our celebrations from simple events into profound spiritual experiences, making each moment an opportunity to give thanks for the abundance we've received. Lastly, the third fortitude principle is to be grateful, because gratitude transforms our celebrations from simple events to great miracles. One of the most powerful outcomes of inviting God into our celebrations is the manifestation of joy and abundance in our lives. This goes beyond the superficial notion of happiness or material wealth. It taps into the deeper, spiritual joy that flows when we align ourselves with the divine and open our hearts to the fullness of life's blessings. At the core of manifesting joy and abundance is the understanding that all that we experience in life, our happiness, our achievements, our relationships, and even the challenges we face, is part of God's abundant provision. The divine nature of God is abundant and limitless. God's love, grace, and mercy are constantly flowing toward us. By acknowledging this divine source during our celebrations, we open ourselves up to experiencing the richness of these blessings in ways that extend far beyond the material. And joy, when connected to God, becomes something deeper than fleeting happiness. It's a profound sense of inner peace and contentment that arises from knowing that we are loved and supported by the Creator. When we invite God into our celebrations, we are not just celebrating events or milestones. We are celebrating life itself in all of its beautiful complexity. The act of celebrating becomes an opportunity to connect with this joy, a joy that transcends circumstances and is rooted in the certainty of God's presence and goodness. When we view our celebrations through this spiritual lens, we begin to experience joy that is not dependent on external factors. Rather than relying solely on material possessions, achievements, or even the people around us for our sense of joy, we draw on the infinite wellspring of divine joy that is available to us at all times. This joy isn't limited by our circumstances. It exists within us, a constant source of strength and peace, ready to overflow and touch everyone around us. Whether we are celebrating a personal achievement, a birthday, a family reunion, or a holiday, we can tap into this deeper well of joy and experience a more profound spiritual form of happiness. Abundance, too, takes on a different meaning when we invite God into our celebrations. In the world, abundance is often equated with wealth, possessions, and status. But divine abundance is so much greater. It encompasses not just material wealth, but emotional, spiritual, and relational prosperity. When we celebrate with God, we acknowledge that we are abundantly blessed in every area of life. The joy we feel isn't just about what we have. It's about who we are and how we experience the richness of life's blessings. Abundance is reflected in the sense of peace and fulfillment we feel, the love we share with others, and the way in which our lives overflow with opportunities for growth, connection, and purpose. It is not about accumulating more things, but about recognizing that we have enough love, enough support, enough strength to face the challenges of life and to celebrate its victories. This perspective allows us to experience the fullness of life rather than constantly yearning for what we don't have. Inviting God into our celebrations also shifts our focus from scarcity to abundance in practical, everyday ways. In moments of celebration, we realize that even in the simplest things, whether it's a quiet meal with family, a shared moment of laughter, or a peaceful walk in nature, there is an overwhelming sense of abundance. Our lives are already filled with blessings, and we are called to be grateful stewards of those blessings. By acknowledging God's presence in these moments, we are able to see the richness in what we already have, rather than always seeking more. In addition, the manifestation of abundance extends to the relationships we celebrate. When we connect with others during celebrations, there is an abundance of love, connection, and mutual support. Our gatherings become a reflection of divine generosity. Each person present contributes something beautiful to the collective experience. We begin to see that there is more than enough love, joy, and care to go around. When we celebrate with God at the center, we not only receive the abundance of God's blessings, but are also able to share them generously with others. We experience true abundance in the community, in the shared moments, and in the collective joy that fills the air. Moreover, manifesting joy and abundance encourages us to be generous and open-handed with others. As we recognize the divine gifts we've received, we are called to share them, whether through acts of kindness, giving, or simply offering our time and presence. This generosity is an extension of the divine abundance we experience in our own lives. The more we share, the more we experience the true essence of abundance, which isn't about hoarding or keeping things for ourselves, but about creating an environment where everyone can thrive and experience the overflow of blessings. Such is the work and life of a teacher. Such is the work and life of an astronomer. This road of the heart is the gateway to the truth, in essence. When we invite God into our celebrations, we create an atmosphere where joy and abundance are not only felt but manifested in tangible ways. These celebrations become more than just festive occasions. They become sacred rituals that remind us of the abundant love, grace, and joy that God freely offers to us. We begin to see the world through a lens of abundance, recognizing that life itself is a celebration, filled with limitless blessings. To live in loving grace and joy, we create an atmosphere of love and abundance. It is this love that brings, by embracing this perspective, we are able to experience greater joy, a deeper sense of fulfillment, and a richer connection to both God and the people around us. Prayer is an incredibly powerful practice, and when we invite God into our celebrations, prayer becomes an essential tool for grounding the experience in spiritual significance. Often celebrations are associated with moments of joy, excitement, and even sometimes chaos. Yet prayer brings us back to a place of calm, focus, and gratitude, reminding us that all things come from God, and that every celebration is an opportunity to connect with the divine. Incorporating prayer into our celebrations transforms the atmosphere of the event. It invites a sense of reverence and humility into what could otherwise be a purely secular experience. By pausing to offer prayer, whether at the beginning, during, or after the celebration, we actively acknowledge that the joy we are experiencing is a blessing from God. Prayer centers our hearts, reminding us to express gratitude for the good we are celebrating and to humbly recognize that all of it, from the smallest joys to the largest milestones, is part of a divine plan. The power of prayer and celebrations is rooted in its ability to shift our perspective from the material to the spiritual. In a world where celebrations are often marked by consumerism, extravagance, or distraction, prayer acts as an anchor, pulling us back into a place of spiritual awareness. It allows us to remember that life is not just about enjoying the moment, but about recognizing that God is the source of every blessing we experience. This shift in focus allows us to appreciate the deeper meaning behind our gatherings, even in the midst of fun and excitement. When we pray during celebrations, we are also reinforcing the bond between our loved ones. Prayer, especially when shared collectively, creates a sense of unity and spiritual communion. It binds us together in a shared experience of gratitude, awe, and humility before God. In the act of praying together, we acknowledge not only the gifts we've received individually, but also the strength and support of the community we are part of. Spirituality, this communal prayer reinforces our sense of interconnectedness and helps to create a spirit of harmony and love in the celebration. Moreover, prayer allows us to set an intention for the celebration. Before we engage in any event or activity, offering a prayer gives the gathering purpose and direction. It's a way of sanctifying the space and the moment, making it clear that this is not just an ordinary event, but a sacred time to honor God and the blessings of life. In this way, prayer becomes a way of dedicating the celebration to a higher purpose, asking for divine guidance and blessing on the event. It turns a routine gathering into an act of worship, where we openly acknowledge God's presence and invite His influence into every interaction, conversation, and experience. Through prayer, we also invite divine peace into our celebrations. Life can be busy, hectic, and even stressful, especially during celebratory events, when there may be so much to do and manage. Prayer acts as a moment of stillness, a sacred pause that helps everyone present to reconnect with a sense of calm and tranquility. It allows us to let go of any stress or anxiety, giving space for the peace of God to fill our hearts. This peace becomes the foundation of the celebration, allowing everyone to truly relax, enjoy, and be present with one another, free from distraction or inner turmoil. Prayer and celebrations also nurtures a sense of hope and expectation. It reminds us that God is not only present in the joy of the moment, but is also guiding our lives in the larger context. Prayers of thanksgiving give us the opportunity to look back and reflect on the blessings that have led us to this point, while prayers of petition or supplication help us look forward to future blessings. So in the spirit of petitions and supplication, let's pray for the blessings our shield. In either case, prayer creates a space for us to acknowledge the ongoing presence of God in our lives, reinforcing that we are never alone and that divine abundance is always available to us. Another powerful aspect of prayer during celebrations is the opportunity it provides for healing and forgiveness. Celebrations can sometimes bring up old wounds, tensions, or unresolved conflicts within relationships, and prayer offers a sacred space for healing. Whether it's praying for the healing of emotional wounds, asking for forgiveness, or praying for reconciliation, prayer becomes a tool to clear the air, restore peace, and rebuild relationships. It turns a celebration from just a fun event into an opportunity for spiritual growth and reconciliation, strengthening the bonds between people and God. Finally, prayer gives us the opportunity to recognize that even in the midst of celebrations, we are still called to serve and live according to God's will. It reminds us that joy and celebration are not ends in themselves, but part of a greater purpose, our journey to live in alignment with God's plan. Through prayer, we can ask for guidance on how we can use the joy we are experiencing in our celebrations to serve others, spread kindness, and fulfill our divine calling. In essence, prayer and celebrations is a powerful way to invite God's presence into our joy. It transforms ordinary moments into sacred occasions, grounding us in gratitude, peace, and humility. It brings us together in unity and deepens our connection to one another and to God. Through prayer, we acknowledge that all good things come from God and that every celebration is an opportunity to reflect His love, joy, and abundance into the world. Inviting God into our celebrations doesn't just enhance the joy we experience, it also deepens our awareness of the importance of giving. Celebrations are often seen as moments to receive or enjoy the fruits of our hard work, relationships, or achievements. However, when we shift our focus and invite God into the occasion, we begin to realize that true celebration is not complete without the spirit of giving. Giving to others, sharing our blessings, and extending kindness, generosity, and love. This shift in mindset transforms the way we approach not just our celebrations, but our entire way of living. The spirit of giving is inherently linked to the divine nature of God. Throughout Scripture and religious teachings, God is described as a giver, generously bestowing blessings upon humanity, not because we deserve them, but because of God's boundless love and grace. By inviting God into our celebrations, we acknowledge that the gifts we enjoy are not solely for our own benefit. They are meant to be shared, passed on, and extended to others. The act of giving is an expression of gratitude for what we have received and a recognition that our blessings are not for us alone, but for the good of others as well. Actually, one of the most profound aspects of cultivating a spirit of giving during celebrations is the recognition that giving is not limited to material possessions. While gifts, donations, or acts of charity are wonderful and important, the true spirit of giving extends to intangible acts of kindness, time, and love. In a celebration, we might give our attention, our presence, and our emotional support to others. We give our hearts in love, our ears in listening, and our hands in service. By offering these gifts, we align ourselves with the divine nature of generosity and deepen our connection with others. Giving during celebrations also brings a deeper sense of fulfillment. In a world that often encourages us to focus on self-interest and accumulation, the act of giving, whether small or large, reminds us of our interconnectedness. When we share with others, we experience joy not because we are receiving something in return, but because we are contributing to the happiness and well-being of someone else. This selflessness nurtures our spiritual growth as we move beyond ego-driven desires and embrace the joy that comes from giving without expectation. Slowly, we learn gradually that life can be truly meaningful. The spirit of giving can also transform the dynamics of our celebrations, bringing a sense of unity and mutual care. When we focus on giving, whether it's through thoughtful gifts, acts of service, or emotional support, we create an environment where everyone feels valued and cared for. The emphasis shifts from individual desires or personal gain to collective joy and community. A celebration where everyone is encouraged to give, whether in tangible or intangible ways, becomes a collective outpouring of love, fostering deeper connections and mutual respect. It turns this celebration from a singular experience into a shared communal event where everyone's needs, both material and emotional, are met with generosity. Moreover, the act of giving during celebrations is a reflection of our gratitude. Celebrations are a time when we recognize and appreciate the blessings we have received, and what better way to express that gratitude than by sharing it with others? When we give, we acknowledge that everything we have is a gift from God, and that part of our responsibility is to use those gifts to bless others. The more we give, the more we align ourselves with the divine flow of abundance, opening ourselves to receive even more blessings as we act as vessels for God's love and generosity. Giving also strengthens our relationships and fosters an atmosphere of love and support. Whether it's through giving a heartfelt compliment, offering help to someone in need, or showing appreciation to a friend or family member, giving deepens the bonds between people. The simple act of extending kindness to others, especially during celebrations, helps to build trust and mutual respect. When people feel valued and appreciated, they are more likely to give in return, creating a ripple effect of goodwill and compassion that enhances the celebration for everyone involved. One of the most beautiful aspects of cultivating a spirit of giving is its transformative power. When we choose to give, whether it's our time, our resources, our love, or our talents, we not only enrich the lives of others, but also transform ourselves. Giving opens our hearts, softens our egos, and helps us move closer to the divine qualities of love and compassion. Through giving, we are reminded that the purpose of life is not to accumulate for ourselves, but to serve others and to share the blessings we have received. Celebrations in this context become an opportunity for spiritual practice. Instead of approaching them with an attitude of entitlement or expectation, we approach them with an open heart, eager to give and to share the blessings we've been given. The spirit of giving transforms the celebration into a sacred space where love, generosity, and connection flow freely among all participants. In this way, every celebration becomes an opportunity to deepen our faith, strengthen our relationships, and reflect the heart of God's love in the world. In essence, cultivating a spirit of giving in our celebrations is an act of aligning with the divine flow of love and generosity. It shifts our focus from receiving to sharing, transforming not only the celebration, but also our hearts and our relationships. By giving, whether materially or emotionally, we express gratitude for the blessings we've received, strengthen our connections with others, and honor God's abundant love. In this way, every celebration becomes a reflection of the greater spiritual truth that true joy is found not in what we receive, but in what we give. This is powerful, believable. Inviting God into our celebrations naturally invites a spirit of humility, which is one of the most transformative elements we can bring to our lives. Humility is the acknowledgement that we are not the ultimate source of our own success or happiness. Rather, all blessings come from God. In the context of a celebration, embracing humility shifts the focus from self-centeredness to a deeper understanding of the divine forces at play in our lives. It helps us remember that no achievement, gift, or joyous moment is entirely of our own making. Everything is a reflection of God's grace and guidance. Humility doesn't diminish our value or the significance of our achievements. Rather, it enhances our ability to celebrate with gratitude and a sense of perspective. By inviting God into our celebrations, we consciously choose to acknowledge that we are recipients of divine grace. This allows us to celebrate not from a place of pride or arrogance, but from a place of reverence for the journey that has brought us here and the divine support that has made it possible. Every celebration, in this context, becomes an opportunity to pause and reflect on the role of God in our lives, recognizing that we are part of a much larger story, one that includes both our individual experiences and the collective journey of humanity. In a world where we are often encouraged to focus on personal achievement and recognition, humility and celebration is a radical act. It encourages us to step back and recognize that while our personal efforts and hard work are valuable, they are not the sole contributors to our success. Humility helps us acknowledge the many external factors, the support of others, the grace of God, the opportunities we've been given, that have helped shape our experiences. This realization not only humbles us, but also opens our hearts to deeper gratitude. Rather than simply congratulating ourselves for what we've accomplished, we take time to thank God for the gifts of wisdom, strength, and love that have guided us along the way. A humble heart also teaches us to celebrate the accomplishments of others without jealousy or competition. In a culture that often promotes comparison, humility allows us to rejoice genuinely in the success of others, knowing that their blessings do not diminish our own. It reminds us that we are all interconnected, that others' joys and triumphs are part of the shared human experience. By adopting a humble attitude, we can celebrate in unity, not with a sense of rivalry, but with a spirit of collective joy. We recognize that there is more than enough love, grace, and opportunity to go around, and by celebrating others, we honor the divine spark within them, just as we honor it within ourselves. Humility also encourages us to approach our celebrations with an openness to learning. Life is full of lessons, and celebrating with humility allows us to reflect on what each moment has taught us. Whether it's a lesson in perseverance, love, patience, or gratitude, embracing humility allows us to see every success and milestone not as the end of a journey, but as part of a larger, ongoing process of growth. We celebrate not because we have arrived, but because we are grateful for the journey and the lessons along the way. Humility helps us to be open to the continuing work God is doing in us, knowing that we are always evolving and that every step forward is a reflection of divine progress. Moreover, humility brings a deeper sense of peace to our celebrations. When we let go of the need for attention or recognition, we free ourselves from the anxiety of performing or measuring up to expectations. Humility allows us to enter into the celebration with a calm heart, knowing that we are already enough, and that the joy of the moment is not dependent on our outward appearance or accomplishments. This peace comes from the trust that God is in control, that our lives are guided by divine wisdom, and that everything is unfolding as it should. Humility shifts our focus from trying to prove ourselves to embracing the moment as it is, accepting all that we are and all that we have as gifts. Celebrations that are rooted in humility also open us up to giving rather than receiving. When we are humble, we are not focused on what we can gain from the celebration, but on how we can contribute to the happiness and well-being of others. Humility helps us to recognize that every person at the celebration is valuable, and that our role is not to stand out, but to make others feel seen, heard, and appreciated. By humbling ourselves in this way, we shift the energy of the celebration from self-centeredness to a more collective and communal experience of joy, love, and connection. Additionally, embracing humility allows us to face any challenges or disappointments during celebrations with grace. Not every moment will go as planned, and not every aspect of a celebration will meet our expectations. But a humble heart helps us to accept the imperfections, knowing that they too are part of the divine plan. Instead of becoming frustrated or disappointed, We are able to see setbacks as opportunities, to practice patience, and to trust that the moment is unfolding exactly as it needs to. Humility gives us the ability to move through life's celebrations with grace and ease, even when things don't go according to plan. Humility also allows us to approach every moment with a heart of service. In every celebration, we are given the opportunity to serve others, whether it's by offering a word of encouragement, lending a hand in preparation, or simply being present for someone in their moment of joy. Humility teaches us that true fulfillment comes not from being the center of attention, but from serving others with love and care. This selfless attitude transforms the entire celebration, creating an environment where everyone feels valued and supported. In essence, embracing a spirit of humility in our celebrations elevates the entire experience from a personal or superficial event to a sacred moment of spiritual connection. It allows us to celebrate not just the external achievements, but also the internal growth and divine grace that have brought us to this moment. Humility helps us to step outside of ourselves and into the collective joy of the community, fostering deeper bonds, greater gratitude, and a stronger connection to God. By inviting humility into our celebrations, we make space for the Spirit of God to work in us and through us, reminding us that every good thing comes from God and that we are ultimately humble servants of the divine. It also helps to build lasting memories that are rooted in faith, purpose, and spiritual connection. The memories we create during celebrations can have a profound impact on our lives, shaping not only how we remember the past, but also how we move forward in life. By consciously choosing to invite God into our celebrations, we ensure that these memories are not only meaningful in the moment, but are deeply anchored in faith, guiding us for years to come. The presence of God in our celebrations allows us to create memories that transcend the material or fleeting aspects of the event. While gifts, food, and decorations may eventually fade, the spiritual significance of a celebration rooted in faith remains with us long after the event has passed. Celebrating with a focus on God ensures that the memories we make are not merely superficial experiences, but moments of deep connection, reflection, and growth. These are the kind of memories that, when we look back on them, can bring us peace, inspiration, and encouragement in times of difficulty. When we celebrate through the lens of faith, the experiences we create are tied to a higher purpose. We remember not just the fun we had or the things we received, but the deeper truths we discovered during the celebration. Whether it's the importance of gratitude, the beauty of shared moments, or the love of God that surrounds us, faith-based celebrations are imbued with a sense of sacredness that gives them lasting value. These are the moments we can draw strength from when we face challenges in the future, knowing that they were infused with divine meaning. Stillness and the quiet mind can free. Moreover, celebrating with God at the center helps to deepen our relationships with others. When we invite God into our celebrations, we are not only inviting Him into our lives, but also into our connections with others. The shared experience of celebrating in faith binds us together in a way that goes beyond the surface level. We are united not just by the event itself, but by the recognition that we are all part of God's greater plan. These relationships become the foundation of lasting memories because they are built on a sense of spiritual unity, love, and mutual respect. The memories we create with others in this context are not fleeting. They are rooted in something eternal. Every relationship in the world is built on the foundation of love and trust. Through this connection, we become less fragile and less vulnerable. A faithful celebration also serves as a powerful legacy for future generations. When we make the intentional choice to include God in our celebrations, we create traditions that can be passed down through the generations. These traditions are a way of sharing our faith and values with those who come after us, giving them a foundation of love and belief to carry forward. The memories created in this way become a living testimony to our faith, offering guidance, comfort, and inspiration to future generations. Children and young people who grow up in environments where God is central to the celebration of life's milestones will carry these values with them, creating a ripple effect of faith and love that extends far beyond our own lifetimes. Celebrations rooted in faith also give us the opportunity to reflect on the presence of God in our lives. During these moments, we can pause and acknowledge the many ways God has blessed us, through the people we love, the opportunities we've had, the challenges we've overcome, and the gifts we've received. These reflections deepen our sense of gratitude and help to frame the celebration in the larger context of God's work in our lives. And so, the memories we make in these moments are reminders that we are not alone. God is always with us, guiding, protecting, and blessing us in ways we may not always see, but can always trust. In fact, in this moment, you are exactly what you need to be. Incorporating faith into our celebrations also creates opportunities for spiritual growth. As we celebrate with God at the center, we reflect on the ways in which He has been present in our lives. This reflection often brings us closer to Him and deepens our understanding of His love and grace. Celebrations then become more than just occasions of joy. They become moments of transformation, where we are invited to grow spiritually and become more attuned to God's presence in our daily lives. The memories created in these moments serve as markers of our spiritual journey, helping us to see how far we've come and how much further God wants to take us. Finally, celebrating with God at the center allows us to create memories that are filled with peace, hope, and joy. In a world that often feels chaotic and uncertain, moments of celebration rooted in faith offer us a refuge, a place where we can experience the deep peace that comes from knowing God is with us. Now, this is not religious preaching. This comes from the heart. These celebrations become sacred spaces where we can rejoice in the goodness of life, surrounded by loved ones, with the assurance that no matter what challenges we may face in the future, God is always with us. These memories provide us with a source of strength, encouragement, and comfort that will sustain us in times of difficulty. In essence, by inviting God into our celebrations, we are not only creating joyful moments, but also building a foundation of lasting memories that are rooted in faith. These memories are not just pleasant recollections. They are reminders of God's goodness, love, and presence in our lives. They offer us spiritual sustenance, strengthen our relationships, and serve as a legacy of faith for future generations. Through faithful celebrations, we create memories that endure, guiding us and inspiring us for years to come. Celebration also means recognizing the role of gratitude. When we take the time to thank God for the blessings of a celebration, whether it's a personal achievement, a family gathering, or a special milestone, we are reminded that everything good comes from Him. Gratitude is a powerful tool for deepening our faith because it shifts our mindset from one of entitlement or self-reliance to one of humble appreciation. By giving thanks, we actively recognize God as the giver of all good things, acknowledging that we are not the ultimate source of our own success or happiness, but that everything we have is by His grace. Furthermore, celebrating with God at the center can help us grow in trust. Often, when life is filled with challenges or uncertainties, we may find it difficult to maintain faith or stay hopeful. However, moments of celebration are reminders of God's faithfulness. As we celebrate our accomplishments, milestones, or even simple moments of joy, we are reminded that God has been with us through every step of our journey. In these times of celebration, we can reflect on the many ways God has provided, protected, and guided us, even when we didn't fully understand His plans. This reflection helps to build trust in God's sovereignty, knowing that He is always present, always working for our good, and always faithful to His promises. Celebrations can also be a time to renew our commitment to our faith. Life can sometimes cause us to become distracted or disheartened, and we may lose sight of the spiritual significance of our experiences. Celebrating with God at the center refocuses our hearts on Him, reminding us of His love and the calling we have as His children. It strengthens our resolve to continue walking in faith, knowing that each celebration is an opportunity to realign ourselves with God's will and purpose. Whether it's through prayer, worship, or simply taking a moment of reflection, we can use these joyful occasions to recommit ourselves to growing in faith and walking with God in every area of our lives. In addition, celebrating with God helps us to better understand the nature of true joy. Often, the world presents celebrations as opportunities for indulgence or excess. But when we invite God into our celebrations, we recognize that true joy is not rooted in materialism or self-gratification, but in the peace and contentment that comes from being in alignment with God's will. Celebrating in this way fosters a deeper understanding of joy as something that transcends external circumstances, something that is found in the awareness of God's presence, His love, and His provision. This understanding strengthens our faith as we realize that joy is a gift from God, and it becomes an integral part of our spiritual life, not just a fleeting emotion tied to circumstances. Furthermore, the act of celebrating with God deepens our communal faith. Whether we are celebrating with family, friends, or fellow believers, these shared experiences strengthen the bonds of community and faith. Celebrations offer an opportunity to come together and share stories of how God has worked in our lives, creating an environment of mutual encouragement and support. As we share our joys and blessings with others, we also bear witness to God's work in our lives, inspiring others and reinforcing the strength of our collective faith. These communal celebrations remind us that we are not alone in our spiritual journeys. We are part of a body of believers, and our celebrations are an opportunity to uplift and support one another in our faith. Moreover, in times of celebration, we are reminded of God's ultimate purpose for our lives, His desire to bring us into deeper relationship with Him. Celebrations that center on God invite us to focus on the eternal and not just the temporary. They help us look beyond the immediate joys of the moment and reflect on the greater joy of knowing and serving God. Strengthening our faith during celebrations is not just about being thankful for what we have in the moment, but also about looking forward with hope to the future, knowing that God's plans for us are good and that He is working all things together for our good. Finally, embracing God in our celebrations helps to anchor our faith in gratitude, trust, and hope. As we celebrate, we acknowledge that life is a gift, a series of blessings that are designed to draw us closer to God. Each celebration becomes an opportunity to deepen our relationship with Him, to recognize His love, and to respond with gratitude, trust, and joy. This deepened faith, nurtured through celebration, sustains us not only in the joyful times, but also in the difficult moments. As we come to understand that every season of life is an opportunity to grow in faith and to experience God's presence more deeply. In essence, strengthening our faith through celebration is about recognizing God's hand in every moment of joy. By inviting God into our celebrations, we open ourselves to deeper gratitude, trust, and connection to Him. We are reminded that every good thing comes from God, and each celebration becomes an opportunity to reaffirm our faith, deepen our understanding of true joy, and grow closer to God. These moments of joy, when rooted in faith, serve as powerful reminders of God's goodness, His faithfulness, and His eternal love, strengthening our relationship with Him and reinforcing our trust in His plans for our lives.